Hey, Joey. Just can you talk about the level of frustration of obviously last night and not being able to advance the playoffs after the loss to the Raiders?
Yeah, obviously it was a huge devastation after that tough fought game. But I mean, we did go out fighting, and got to be proud of everybody on our team. I mean, we really gave it our all out there, which I mean, it's what you ask for out there. It was great to see everybody fighting and clawing to the last minute out there, but I mean, I'm upset, of course, but I still look to the future and I see a very bright future with a lot of young talent. And I see a group that was in their first year in a system that is a pretty complex system that's going to take a while to master. And the fact that we had the year that we did, which was a pretty successful year in my books, I'm pretty happy with it.
Joey, you're one of the guys that's been around the longest. I mean, it's probably you and Keenan. What do you feel like needs to change for you guys to take that next step and not only maybe make the playoffs, but be in it consistently for the next few years, especially with like you said, young talent and obviously a quarterback like Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, just keep playing together, keep improving. As time moves on and we get more experience together, it's only gonna get better. So yeah, it's there's no drastic changes that need to be made. There's plenty of games this year that a play here or there could have been the difference, but that's kind of every year. But it's just a process, and we gotta keep pushing forward.
How do you feel like the season went for you? How do you feel physically and everything after this season? You had 10.5 sacks. I think you had 7 strip sacks. So how do you feel like your season went?
It was okay. I'm gonna definitely do my best to have a really good off season this year, and in my mind, I think my best year is to come next year. I want to have a really good off season, and I think I learned a lot this year about my game, and I'm happy with the production that I had. Getting those forced fumbles is good. I'm happy I'm moving in the right direction on that front. But yeah, it's just a new system, like I said. So I got to keep getting better in the 2 point. I think I need to be more aggressive coming off the ball in the 2 point stance in the run, and I can be better in the run, and definitely in some areas. But yeah, just have to keep improving. But I'm happy I made it, feeling all right, and happy I was able to have some production.
All right, Nick Hamilton.
Hey Joey, you talked about entering into a new system, obviously this season. At what point did you feel like you were able to really get accustomed to that new system and really, show your worth and be able to be a part of that system and be productive in it?
I mean, I think I did a good job all year being productive. I think early on it took a while in the run game to get comfortable and really setting those edges and getting off the blocks. It was an emphasis that we put on. I can't remember what week, but I think it may have been the Monday night week. But we went out and did a really good job setting the edges and kind of took a step forward on that front. But other than that, the dropping and all that stuff, it was something that was definitely an adjustment in camp. But over those weeks, I mean, I got it down pretty well. I had a few mistakes this year, probably just one or two missed coverages. But other than that, I was pretty solid and didn't really get much action my way in that aspect of things. But yeah, it's something that is complex, but complex is good. And as we keep growing together, like I said, we're gonna keep getting better at it.
And you spoke about your off-season routine, and we all know how vigorous you are in your off-season routine, especially as you prepare for each season. But what are a couple of things you feel like you need to do, maybe different, or maybe adjust to, or maybe add to get prepared for the next season, a year or two under Brandon Staley's system?
Yeah, I just need to keep doing what I've been doing. I do a good job in the off-season training, getting my body ready. I'm going to get right onto it, just use a few days here to rest. Get a little relaxation, but I'm planning to get after it very soon. Head back to Florida, get back going. But yeah, I'm gonna just put a little more emphasis on working my pass rush this off season. I'm gonna just make sure I have a lot more time to spare to kind of experiment and do different things that I want to do. But other than that, I'm just gonna stick to what I know.
Thank you, Joey.
Thanks.
Jeff Miller.
Joey, at the end of the game last night, those last few plays, what was the sense on the field? Did you think the game was going to end in a tie? Did you think they were going to try to score? Or just could you kind of have a sense of what was going on?
I mean, I was a little oblivious to what was going on. I was exhausted. I mean, I'm just dead tired out there, just grinding, trying to do my best to stop them. And I mean, the coaches are going to do what they do, and that's out of our control. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on, but I mean, people obviously made the decisions. But yeah, I honestly was tired, trying to get lined up and trying to play ball.
And what was the feeling like? It was just you were just tired because of the intensity. It's such a long game. I mean, was everybody just kind of?
Yeah, I mean, it was a battle. I mean, just back and forth all game. We're in overtime. I mean, the amount of drives we were out there for a bunch of plays. I mean, it was definitely a grind of a game all game long. So, I mean, I was just out there focused, and yeah, I don't know. I guess I thought they called the timeout. I wasn't really exactly sure. But yeah, I was just my main thought was keep them out of field goal range, and that was it.
And with this scheme, do you like this scheme? I mean, do you think it's something that can bring out your best?
Yeah, I think that's a hard question to answer after just a year of doing it, but I think there's definitely some things that I just have to keep getting better at, and I think as I continue to, the one thing I mentioned, getting off the ball in a 2-point stance, I think I get a little lazy sometimes and don't really fly off the ball like I can when I get in a 3-point stance, but that's not the scheme's fault. That's something I just have to kind of get used to over time. But yeah, the dropping towards the end of the year, I was really going to the call a majority of the time, and the only time I would ever drop is if there was a motion or a huge switch in the receivers, and we'd have to switch the call. So it kind of adjusted as the year went on, and I didn't really end up really in coverage much at all. So it was. As far as what I'm used to, it really wasn't too different from what I'm used to playing 9 technique, playing the edge. It was definitely a little more on the edge, but yeah, I think it's I don't mind the scheme at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, we have 3 more minutes with Joey. So Popper.
I know.
Hey, Joey.
You reached out.
Have you talked to Brandon today?
Not yet. I will later on.
Gotcha. Okay. Just obviously a lot of excitement, in training camp, just with Brandon coming in, his pedigree as a defensive coach, the talent that you guys have defensively. Like, when you look at what happened for you guys on defense this season, do you look at it as a missed opportunity, or do you look at it more as, it's going to take time on task, as Brandon would say, to sort of get comfortable in the scheme and become fluent in it, and looking ahead in that way? Is it a little bit of both? Or?
Yeah, no. I don't really look at it as missed opportunity. I mean, like you said, it's going to be an adjustment. It's going to take more than a year, and I mean, the amount of times we actually had our group together out there playing was not very often. And I think when we did and when we put it together, it was a really good performance. I mean, there's obviously some issues in the run game that we have to get figured out coming into next year. That was definitely a big point of emphasis this year. We let too many people run on us, so that's something we have to figure out. But yeah, I think you get a guy like Derwin out there more often. We need him out there. He's just such a impact player. But I think guys will keep growing. Jerry will keep growing inside, and JJ, all those guys. Hopefully we can get Linval or whatever all these guys back. Who knows who's going to be back next year? It's crazy, but yeah, I'm excited for it.
You mentioned how many guys, especially up front, that are going to be potentially free agents between Linval and JJ and Chenna. When you approach an offseason like this where you could potentially have a lot of turnover, I guess what's sort of your mindset?
Yeah, it's sad because, I mean, I've grown to be close with all those guys. I hope they obviously end up here, but I just want them to get what's best for them wherever it is, obviously. I'm happy with the year they all had. I thought JJ and Chenna both played really well. I think they deserve everything that they're about to get. It would be great to play with them again, but it's just how the NFL goes. It's just wild. I mean, me and Keenan are the only guys left from my year, so it's pretty crazy. And Linval's become like kind of like a big brother to me. So losing him would be tough, but hopefully I can get him back another year and at least. And then Kyler coming in 1 year, we definitely became close. It was great to have him. So who knows who's Kaiser? I mean, all these guys that who knows who's going to be back? Hopefully them all, but odds are it won't be. But it was a great ride with all of them.
Thanks, Joey.
All right, Joe, you get one question.
Joey, were you surprised by the timeout in the final minute, or with the personnel and with the way you guys were exhausted, you really needed it?
Yeah, like I was saying, I was exhausted. I guess I was kind of oblivious. I think in my thought was that I guess they called the timeout. I wasn't quite sure. I didn't really think about it in that moment. All I was thinking about was stopping them. And yeah, it doesn't matter. The timeout really doesn't matter. As a defense, we can't let them drive down and kick a field goal. It's that's what happened. So if we stop them, they can't kick that field goal, and we tie and it's over. But they drove down and they kicked it. So that's how it played out.